No. Who's going to run for Marcia Fudge's seat? The primary for the special election to replace will be August 3rd. Ah. Okay, there you are.
Here I am.
Mr. Office COP, there you are. You ever leave? You just might as well pull up a cot, you know?
Office COP is at my house. So.
Oh, good. Okay, Office COP is at your house. That's makes me feel better. Okay, so I was fiddling with it earlier. I haven't gone through the entire course. I was having trouble navigating. So I want to make sure that we tell people that, you know, there might be a few glitches like that. But I did practice with Tim earlier today. as far as screen sharing, but the navigation itself was a little bizarre, and I just want to make sure that we do that. And I think the first part is a little boring. I think we
Okay.
want to ask everybody to sort of share what they've done and what they, what they want to do.
There have been about 2 or 3 more people who've signed up last minute within the last few hours.
Oh, great. Who? Anybody?
I think, I thought I saw maybe Cheryl. I'm going to have the look
I
at
know
the
Cheryl.
list.
Cheryl and I've picked Cheryl's in these pictures right here that I was trying to put up some visual stuff that was a little more exciting than a bare wall.
Yeah, Janice McDonald.
Oh, good. Yeah, she's good. She's the one that has the scout troop. She's a former COPer. She's on and off with COP. She hiked with me, and she also it's the wilderness first aid, the 2-day course. She knows
Okay.
about it, and she's a great resource. And
Looks
that's
like a person, it might be a misspelling, but Chris Sweet.
I don't know Chris Sweet. That's good. These are new people to learn.
Yeah.
But Mary Maloney is Mary and Cheryl and I have done a lot together.
Yeah, and she I don't know if I've met her, but she had the women's group together 2 years ago or before the pandemic started.
Yeah, Cheryl and Judy. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah.
I can make a plug for whatever the discount is that they're offering with Right on Trek meals right now.
And they're going to be doing some online stuff, and we're talking about pulling together a trip to the Pictured Rocks. Now, Cheryl's done Pictured Rocks. I have not done Pictured Rocks.
We should talk about that, even though we don't have a specific date yet.
Here's the deal. I want to see how far along people are. If they're going to be busy trying to figure out equipment, maybe we should talk about getting together a car camp at a group campsite like up at Delaware State Park. Bring all our equipment, because I've got plenty I can share, and talk about equipment, because one of the things they talk about in this is you can't use your car camping tent to go backpacking, that kind of stuff.
Let me send you the list of topics that Right on Trek is going to do, because I think maybe their second one is equipment.
Yeah, well, we're going to be going over equipment some today, and I sent this out. Did you get this?
Yes, I did, and it's a nice overview.
Yeah, I think it'll be helpful.
And the ones that Right on Trek does are going to be like deep dives into different topics.
Okay, that's good. It's all good. Okay, who's that?
Yeah.
Oh,
Lisa said last night they were having. I sure hope more people join soon, but it's 10 minutes out, so.
Oh, well,
a lot of people wait till the last minute.
Oh, sure. This one Van Order is going to be Van Gorder. She said she's going to be late. Also, Reza. I know Reza from the city. He was in the development department.
Okay.
He can't join us because he's off with his child. His youngest is looking at colleges, so they're out of town. And who else? Reza and well, I know Ahmed Al Akras. That's very cool. I don't know whether he's in town. He may be like way out of town. So there's Cheryl. Yay. Are you talking, Cheryl, or are you going to ghost us? Hello. You have to undo your.
He's muted.
Yeah.
Give me a second, girl. Shit, I just plug it in.
Jays, I noticed. Oh my! This is the Tetons. I tried to put up some maps for fun. That's the Appalachian Trail. I got your picture on the wall. Let me fix this thing.
It's not prominent enough. Come on, do. Oh, it just dropped.
It just fell down. Just you said that and it fell down. You gave it some bad juju there. Oh God. So.
Okay.
Hi, Cheryl.
Okay. Nice butt.
You must say hi.
No. Well, yeah, I think I have. I've been in the office. I've been in the office a couple times.
You were running the women's group, so I wasn't allowed then.
Oh, no. I see. Yeah.
I remember.
The only couple times I was not welcome in the office is the women's backpacking group.
Well,
now-
I don't think
now-
anybody would have thrown you out.
Matt's an old backpacker, and he says he's afraid that all his equipment is way outdated.
It is. There's no doubt in my mind. Like,
We should actually analyze your stuff, and see.
I have all the latest and greatest equipment from 1995.
Well, I understand. I
They
understand.
came out with very expensive single walled tents, and I was one of the first ones to buy one, and I still have it.
I have a single wall. This is of course they're in the business of selling equipment, so they send these things out, and I'm kind of tech insane, as Cheryl knows. I have to have the latest and greatest to a degree. I've kind of slowed down, Cheryl. I don't know what's wrong, but I am slowing down. Anyway, so yeah, we've got maybe a dozen
Yeah.
people. We got maybe a dozen people that are gonna
The computer.
join up. But I can say hi.
I'm breaking up a bit.
Yeah, you
I'm
are.
breaking up a bit.
Yeah, you are. Get closer to your router or your Wi-Fi, your Wi-Fi.
Well, I have, yeah, I know I'm plugged in, but I might have to go back to my router.
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
might plug in and go back to my router.
you can.
Okay.
Yeah, it's okay. So I
Make
can say when we start, I can say hi, and then I can introduce you. And there goes Mary, and Maloney. There she is.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah,
Hey, guys.
yeah, yay. How
Happy
are
day after St. Patrick's Day.
Correct. Yes, I still have my stuff on here. So see, I got. Yes, we did a walk at Glacier Ridge.
Excellent.
Not
Hey,
exactly.
Shayra.
but-
Mary, haven't seen you forever, other than photos. Nice to see you.
So yeah, I saw Mary for the first time since in about a year and a half, I think.
Last weekend.
At Great Seal State Park. Matt, if you haven't done Great Seal State Park, it's a great. There's some nice. It's easy to get to and a good hilly trails to get some hill work in. And we only got a couple hours out, but and it's only an hour away, and you can climb those things. It's
Yeah, that would be fun for me. I sort of gave up on hills when I moved to Columbus.
no. So if you want to work at, we have to get him to Shawnee, Mary.
I tell you, my calves were pretty, they were,
Right? Were they?
yeah, pretty intensely engaged, let's say. So that was Saturday. So Sunday, even into Monday, I was stretching still. It was,
Good.
I need to turn right around and go back.
Yeah,
you know.
exactly. I understand. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty accessible. As a matter of fact, at one point, Matt, I had it all figured out. And Mary's heard this story. This is back when I was living downtown at the old funeral home, and my son was very small. He had pneumonia, and I was trying to figure out a way to bike pack down to Great Seal State Park, do the hills, spend the night, and then come back the following day. It's 50 miles. I had my route all figured out. I put my son in the back seat of the car and drove the route and everything, and I was going to do it. I never did it. But I've done the trails. And John Loon, John Loon, Mary. John Loon used to do a regular outing over at Great Seal, and that's the first time I'd ever been there. John Loon was a day hiker. He's a guy that used to do the New Year's Day hike at Old Man's Cave, and he's still around. He just is.
Yeah, I went on a overnight backpack trip with him in October, November last year. And
How
then
was
did some of the Pacific Crest Trail with him and
Yeah,
different, yeah. Mhm.
that's good. Now I see Robin Whipple. Hi, Robin Whipple. How are you? Are you going to talk? I'm going to demand everyone talk. You're muted.
She's muted.
Don't be muted. How we doing? Oh, we're 3 minutes to post time. Yeah.
Yeah, once everybody starts, I am going to encourage people to mute that aren't speaking, because you'll start to get into this feedback loop
Yeah,
and
it's
it'll
great.
start kind of ringing.
Yes,
So
yes.
I'll
Mr.
cover
Pop-
that when you introduce me, Mary Ellen.
Okay, great, great. Yeah, and that'll be helpful. But we do want it to be interactive, and I am going to ask people to tell me what they've done and what they want to do. So going forward. So we're still waiting for people to sign up, and you can't ghost us. Don't ghost us. I'm going to call you out.
I don't understand why I have to be near my router when I have Wi-Fi throughout the whole house. But it
It's
keeps
just
happening.
it's just I have spots. I can't as much as I want to zoom in my kitchen. I can't zoom in my kitchen because I keep freezing. So I'm right next to my router right now. So
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know. Somebody, as we were talking yesterday with my niece and my and Tim says, "Oh, well, there's James Potts. Hello,
I'm
Mr.
Jim.
Potts.
It's Jim.
Hi, Jim. How are you?
How are you?
Very good. Very
Good.
good. I haven't seen Robin yet. I see Sarah Greenberg. Yes, Sarah Greenberg. Hello. How are you? Very good. Very good. And
Good,
Robin,
thanks.
we haven't seen your lovely face yet.
Well, you won't see me. I'm on my work laptop and the cameras are disabled.
Oh no. Oh no. That's terrible. But we'll have a chance to talk anyway. But
Yes.
so we have how many more people? We've got Greenberg. How about Jonathan Davidson? We've got Dr. Ahmed Al-Akras, who I do know. Jody Van Gorder is coming late. Hi, this is Chris Sweet, who got in a little bit late. Hi, Chris. Julie Vergolette, she was on our last 10-mile day hike over at Zaleski. And I believe we had a conversation about how she wanted to do more and learn more about backpacking. So that's one of the reasons we're doing this. Robin's on. Dick Bartz. We don't have Dick Bartz. I know Reza's not joining us. So, we are at 6:59. We might give it a few more minutes, make sure we get everybody. And as Matt has pointed out, this will be.
It's 7 o'clock.
It's 7 o'clock, according to my computer. Sorry. Yeah. This will be recorded and we can share it later. That's one of the things. Reza, who I know from the city, really wanted to join us because he wants to do more. His youngest is leaving the roost, leaving the nest, and ready to go to college. And so he and his wife want to get out and about. There's Julie. How are you? Very good, very good. And yes, Dick Bartz is there. Good. And Janice. Hey, Janice. Yay. All right. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we'll give it's 7 o'clock right now, and we'll give it just a couple more minutes. And it's always good to say hi to everybody. I got my old backpacking, but there's Janice. There we go. Yeah, good to see you. Got my old backpacking buddies. And Julie, like I said, Julie joined us. You joined us on the 10-mile day hike at Zaleski, correct, last time? I think you did. Didn't you, Julie? I thought you had joined us on something. I don't know. Janice was there. Yeah, you were there. I forget who all else. Anyway, and we were talking about learning more about backpacking. There's people who day hike and do a lot of that stuff, but they don't really feel confident enough in their skills to be able to go out and backpack. So that's what we're going to be talking about. And it sure is a lot of fun. And it's especially a lot of fun when you have friends together, like my friends Mary and Cheryl, who are joining us here. Actually, I'm kind of starting right now. Cheryl and I met on my first big backpacking trip with Columbus Outdoor Pursuits in 2003. And we were, if you see the Tetons right back here, we were going to do Paul Petzold, who is a National Outdoor Leadership School, his High Adventure Trail, which traverses the back end of the Tetons. And that was the first big mountain I had ever climbed. And I'm going up that mountain, and I look back at Cheryl, and there were about 8 or 9 of us on that trip. And I said, we're climbing a mountain. We're climbing a mountain. And we started to talk and realized that we had similar circles, and we had probably met each other many years before. But that was the beginning of our current friendship that has been going on for quite some time. And we have shared many backpacks together. Mary Maloney, too. Now, Mary Maloney's got quite the backpacking resume. as a person who has nearly walked across Africa. And she is a wonderful person to backpack with because she's a horticulturalist and she knows all the plants. So when we backpacked the Beara Peninsula in Ireland, it was, Mary, what's that? And Mary would tell us. So Mary's a little rusty on the backpacking and she wants to get back out there. So looking for friends and folks to backpack with. So we're trying to resurrect backpacking with Columbus Outdoor Pursuits again. It was quite robust at one point. We used to do some major hikes, and that's how I met many friends. And actually, we continue to get together and backpack about annually out in the Wind River Mountain Range. But we need to make sure that we're investing back into Columbus Outdoor Pursuits. That we're we talk about learn, right, and do, and share. So I'm at the sharing moment, now that I've learned so much through Columbus Outdoor Pursuits that I want to make sure that I'm sharing what I've learned and helping other people who want to get out more. So that's kind of why we're doing this. Now, I do want to introduce Matt Wolfe, who is leading the charge over there at Columbus Outdoor Pursuits. He is here and he will say a few words about what we're doing tonight, what we've got planned in the future. He's put together some pretty amazing stuff virtually, and some outings. We're talking about some outings. So go ahead, Matt.
Thanks, Mary Ellen. Just a few housekeeping rules. This Zoom educational session is being recorded. We put it out on YouTube when they're done, so that if people have paid or maybe signed up and couldn't be here tonight, something came up, they can listen to it later. And so just wanted to let you know that that is going to happen. Thanks to those of you who donated. We really appreciate it. It's no surprise that the last year hasn't been kind to really most organizations, including nonprofits. So, but we are working to really grow our backpacking program again. One of the benefits of sitting in the office for the last year, not doing a lot, is you have time to kind of step back and say, okay, what do I want to plan, and how do I position us to come out of this pandemic and be stronger? So we have partnered recently with a company called Right on Trek. They're a startup. I don't think they've been around for more than a couple of years, but they do meal planning for backpackers and people who want to spend time in the outdoors, whether you're a kayaker or a bicyclist, anybody who's going to be out there eating. And so if you're a COP member, you got an email in the last week or so saying 50% off your first order, which is huge. So that's one group, and they're going to be doing some really good programming for us over the next year. So some deep dives into different topics, ranging from cooking to gear to leave no trace principles, which you'll hear probably some about in Mary Ellen's programming. And so thanks for being here. And I would ask you to mute yourselves maybe when you're not talking. What I found in these Zoom sessions is if there's enough people unmuted, it starts to get echoey, and then you'll just kind of get into this vicious cycle. And so the only way to stop that really is to have whoever isn't talking muted. So thanks a lot for being here.
All right, very good. Let me tell you a little bit about what we're doing here. I bought, if you all folks know Backpacker Magazine. Do you know Backpacker Magazine, everybody? Have you read Backpacker Magazine? If you haven't, you should start getting it. There you go, Janice has got it. She's got the same one. It is got a lot of information. And one of the things they do is they offer a Backpack 101 course. So I decided one of the best things to give some structure to this, because we all know a lot, but we don't really know what you need to know. I invested in the Backpacker 101 course, and that's what we're going to share. I've not seen the whole thing. I've seen some of it. Hopefully this will go smoothly, and we'll have an opportunity to listen to a little bit of the instructor, and we'll have an opportunity to talk. a little bit about me. I've been backpacking. As I said, I started with Columbus Outdoor Pursuits in 2003. I had begun backpacking a few years before with my young son, who expressed an interest in wanting to get out. And I was always intrigued by backpacking because I would go out with my mother and we'd get on a trail. And I always thought, why do we have to turn around? Why can't we just stay here and keep going? So I learned how to keep going through Columbus Outdoor Pursuits and myself. I was self-taught, but you learn so much more when you do this in a group and you have an opportunity to share information. Now, there's not one good way to backpack. There's not good one thing that's going to solve all your problems. Everybody has a different thing. Some things will work for you, some things won't work for you. It's kind of like shoes. They'll talk a little bit about shoes in this. Man, oh man, you don't think much about your feet until you spend most of the day, doing 20 miles a day on your feet. I've been with many experienced backpackers who continue to struggle with getting the right foot gear. So it's ongoing. I'm in a really good spot right now with some La Sportivas. So I'm putting in a plug for La Sportivas, but they might not work for everybody. They certainly work for me. Joining me today too is Cheryl Repose, who I said, I met her on my first big Columbus Outdoor Pursuits backpacking trip. And Mary Maloney, who, gosh, Mary, when did we meet first? I can't remember.
In my mind, it was at the Shamrock Club.
It might have been
After I went on a backpack trip with Doug Kitchen, maybe out to the West Coast.
Right. You did the big West Coast Trail there.
I knew you before. I don't know. I can't truly remember.
We did a Yosemite trip together, if you recall.
Yeah.
And
that was after that time. Yeah, I think.
I think it was. And also Mary and Cheryl and I and Judy, we went as a foursome to Ireland and walked the Barra Peninsula, which was great fun. And that was, that was way too long ago. We're already talking about what the next trip is, maybe Scotland. We don't know, and that we might make it a COP trip. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, I'm talking about myself and I'm talking about Cheryl. I'm talking about Mary, but there are people here I don't know. Janice, do you want to start and talk about what you want to share in this course? Everybody should talk, really. Do you want to talk a little bit about, why you're here and, you want to get out more and unmute. You got to unmute yourself, please.
My first long backpacking trip was with Ann Gherkins in 1985. And so we spent 2 weeks in going through the Smoky Mountains and a little bit beyond. And then I went with Ann to Vermont near Killington, and then Maine, that's where I met Mary for that trip. We did the 100-mile wilderness and climbed the end of the Appalachian Trail, Mount Katahdin. And then I've been backpacking with my brother in Alaska, 3 different trails. So the Chilkoot Trail, which is the historic Gold Rush Trail, the Resurrection Trail, and the historic Iditarod Trail. And I've also gone with Ann around Mount Hood. So several weeks, probably two-week trips around Oregon and Washington. So I have a girl troop within the Boy Scouts of America, and I want to get them started with backpacking too, and just camping and doing all that outdoor stuff, and which we've started, but I want to get to the backpacking part. And so I thought I could learn something here.
We can always learn something from each other, but as you can see, we've got very experienced people involved here. We've got people who aren't experienced and people I don't know. Jim Potts, do you want to talk a little bit about what you want to learn? And you've got to unmute yourself, please, and I'll mute myself.
There we go. Yeah, my name's Jim. Grew up camping, mostly Hocking Hills area. Through college and stuff. And then as time wore on, I kind of got away from it. We did a little bit of backpacking, but not very much of it. Um, I have a brother-in-law who lives in Colorado, and he's been threatening to organize a Grand Canyon trip. So I decided I'd better start getting back into it. And I've retired, so now I have the time to do it, but nobody here to do it with. So I'm looking for people to do it with. Starting to organize my equipment back, and it's been interesting, and watching lots of YouTube videos.
Excellent, excellent. This is good. Well, this is good. Yeah, you're in the right spot, and very similar to it falls off, we get back in it. Even Matt says he's got great equipment from 1995, and things really have changed since 1995. So Sarah Greenberg, do you want to talk a little bit? And James, don't forget, we have to go ahead and mute ourselves so we don't get into crosstalk. Sarah Greenberg, please introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi, I'm Sarah. I have zero backpacking experience, a lot of day hiking, a lot of car camping. So I know how to bring a lot of stuff to a campsite. I just don't know how to bring a small amount of stuff with me. So that's kind of what I'm after here, is learning how to narrow things down and live on less.
Good. We can show you that.
Okay, good.
and we always bring too much, but this is how we learn to, we're leaving that back. We didn't use it. We're going to not take that. So, it takes time, but we're here to help, certainly. So Chris Sweet, do you want to go?
Sure. I'm Chris. Sorry, one of my reasons for wanting to get outside is this one here. I don't know if you can see him. That guy, who's my pup Ernie. And I have experience doing a lot of like kayaking and indoor rock climbing. I worked for Ohio State for a couple years in their indoor rock climbing center. And I've done some car camping and things like that. And so I just would like to try to be able to get more outdoors and, have the ability to, go somewhere and kayak and camp and maybe backpack and stuff as well.
Excellent, excellent. We're in the right place. Julie, you haven't gone yet. Julie Vergolette.
Hi, everyone. I do have some day hiking experience, but my reason for taking this class was to, one, get a gauge for what is the appropriate equipment to do longer hikes that lead to overnight camps and not overpack. So years ago, when we used to do campsite camping, I would always take too much stuff, and I'd come home and just have this mountain of stuff to like worry about ticks and wash and then put away and all that stuff. So I want to pare that down. So I'm just taking what I need. And then also learning some other really important skills on the trail. So first aid, foraging, cooking, that kind of a thing. Yeah. And apologies in advance in case a cat head just randomly comes across the screen. They do what they do.
we're pretty relaxed here, so don't worry about it. I really don't, but we're glad you're here. Dick Bartz, do you want to go next?
Sure. I'm Dick Bartz. My wife is here with me, and we've done quite a bit of day hiking. I'm trying to see if you can actually see me. Yeah, great. We've done quite a bit of day hiking over the years. And we've oftentimes thought that, gee, wouldn't it be nice just to kind of keep on going and staying out there someplace or another and do some backpacking. We have done 2 backpacking trips. One of them was around hiking the high point in California, Mount Whitney, where we backpacked in about 7 miles and then did the 14-mile round trip up and down and 7 miles back to the base.
And we did the Onion Valley.
And yeah, we also did the Onion Valley that time as well. And then we did Kings Peak in Utah, which was a high point as well. You backpacked in about 7 miles. And the next day you did the high point, and then you came back down and stayed at the camp, and then
The next day.
backpacked back out. So anyway, so we have a little bit of backpacking experience. We have quite a bit of equipment left over, or
Good equipment.
good equipment that can be used in both backpacking and car camping. So, and we used to bicycle tour a lot. So we have a lot of small stuff for carrying on your bikes that are lightweight.
Good, good. You know, bike packing is a big deal right now. It's very hot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who are doing it,
Yeah.
and there will probably be some opportunities for that through COP as
Yeah.
well. But yeah, you're in the right spot.
Yeah.
And I've summited Whitney along with the intrepid Doug Kitchen, who was our trip leader, is actually still our trip leader, but he lives in Colorado, and we, we get together about once a year and do this kind of stuff. But I was able to do the John Muir Trail with him, and started in Yosemite, and of course ended at Whitney, and it was quite the experience. So it was good.
I can see. I can still see where you probably left your backpacks just to do the little bit up to Whitney.
Oh no, I had the backpack on. No, we didn't. No, we we stashed it somewhere. Now that I think, yeah. I've got
The Muir Trail comes up to the Whitney Trail, and everyone leaves their backpacks there and goes up the extra 2 or 3 miles to make it to the summit.
Yeah, it's fun stuff. It's fun stuff. So great. Thanks for joining us. I appreciate it. How about Justin Curtis? You want to say hi? Go, Justin. You coming? Tell us about yourself a little bit. Oh, Justin. Are you going to do it, or are you going to ghost us? I don't think Justin wants to talk. Well, I can jump to Robin while Justin's trying to figure it out. Robin, do you want to talk?
Sure.
Great.
I have never backpacked, done several day hikes, but I think I want a backpack, and I'm trying to talk myself into wanting to backpack. I have a hang up right now about the whole restroom thing. I got to get past that before I can do any backpacking, but I'm hoping if I get enough information and get involved with enough Zoom meetings and this kind of thing, it'll motivate me to get past that hurdle and actually do it. So
Pooping in the woods is a deal, you know.
Yeah.
Well, we lost Justin. How about that? Thanks for joining us, Robin. You obviously you've got people with all sorts of experience here, sitting here with you, and I hope we can get outside and do some stuff. What I'm going to do now, one of the things before we go to this, and I have to apologize because I haven't done a whole lot of this. If we have a few hiccups, please excuse me. But we're going to try to do a screen share with this backpacking thing. Now, the beginning part is pretty much what we just did. So we might zoom through that and get right into the gear part of this. But we'll let them give an introduction and go from there. Yeah, let's just keep watching here. Matt, should I go ahead and try a screen share and see what we can do? Okay, I'm going to do that, and I'll keep talking if you folks don't mind. And we did lose Justin, didn't we? He didn't want to talk. Justin Curtis. I'll try to be in touch with him again later. So, okay, let's see. Let me do this and see if I can do a share screen. And then how do I get to desktop? No, that's not what I want. Zoom. No. Here we go. Let's try this. Okay, there it is. Okay. So what we're going to try to do is do this little bit right here.
I love backpacking for 2 reasons: to be in solitude, surrounded by the natural environment. And the other reason that I love it is that I find it really intensely challenging, both mentally and physically. I'm Sienna Fry, and I'm so excited to share Backpackers Backpacking 101. The first rule of doing anything in the outdoors is being prepared. How am I going to carry all this stuff? And that's where your pack comes into play. In this course, we're going to teach the entire spectrum of backpacking skills. Everything from picking the right gear and how to pack it, to basic navigation and first aid, and how to poop in the woods.
There you go.
This course is perfect for brand new backpackers and people who have been backpacking for a while and just want to see how other people do it. Enroll in Backpackers Backpacking 101 online course and learn what you need to know to venture off the beaten path, feeling confident to take on any challenge that might come your way. Enroll now at backpacker.com/backpacking101.
I thought that was kind of beautiful, so I had to show it. But that's the beginning of it. And let's see if I can go back and get to the rest of it. No, we don't want that again.
I love
Stop. Okay. Let's go. How do I get smaller? There we go. Okay. Resume course. Here we go. Course overview. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Sienna Fry, and I'd like to welcome you to Backpackers Backpacking 101. Throughout my 7 years of instructing with the Colorado Outward Bound School, I've led dozens of groups into the backcountry for up to 3 weeks at a time. So I know what it takes to take first-timers out of the city and into the world of the backcountry. The fact that you've already enrolled in this course means that you've taken the first step towards being able to step away from the hustle and bustle of life in the city and enjoy nature. Whether it's for solitude, tranquility, or the physical exercise, backpacking is a great way to get out and explore your world. We've split the class into 10 sections, covering everything from gear selection to trip planning and wilderness hygiene. Throughout this course, I'll give you the tools that you need to be able to venture forth into the wilderness for the first time. I'm really glad you enrolled. Now let's get hiking.
Okay. Let's go to the next page. Okay, these I don't this first timer reports, we kind of did that amongst ourselves. So let's go to introduction to gear, if that's okay with you.
Gear is one of the most important aspects of backpacking. It can keep you warm, dry, and comfortable, and makes all the difference between completing your trip with a smile on your face or being miserable the entire time. You don't want to be 20 miles from your car in a tent that leaks in a 3-day rainstorm. Trust me. That's why in this section, we're going to go over all of the ins and outs of choosing the right gear for you. By the end of this section, you'll know how to pick the gear that's right for you, what you can skimp on and what you can't, and how to make sure your gear lasts as long as your passion for backpacking. Let's get to it.
Okay, let's see if I can get to a bigger screen here so I can full screen. Okay, budget considerations here. See if we can see this. Obviously, you can spend a lot of money on a lot of equipment, but the question is whether it's the right amount of money for the right equipment. Car camping versus backpacking gear. That's a good one, because I'm trying to figure out a way to where to put you guys here. I'm there. You can't take car camping gear backpacking. We all know that? Do you understand that? It's just not going to work. Car camping gear is wonderful. It is certainly something that we love to enjoy, but if you try, you'll hurt yourself if you try to backpack with it. I'm trying to get this thing to go and it doesn't want to go. Let's go back again. No, it doesn't want to go. Let's just go ahead and go to backpacking. If I can get this thing to navigate, we're in good shape. I had trouble with this earlier today. It has something to, here we go. Let's go to these are this is about backpacks themselves.
One of the most important questions is, how am I going to carry all this stuff? And that's where your pack comes into play. Packs come in small, medium, and large, and this refers to your torso size. Make sure you're trying your pack on before you buy or borrow it to make sure it fits your torso appropriately. Now, that torso size has nothing to do with how much your pack can actually carry. That's measured in liters. On the small end of the spectrum, you've got 30-liter packs all the way up to 80 or more liters. A 30-liter backpack is probably for an overnight or an ultralight type of trip. An 80-liter pack is for 10 days or more.
So when the first backpack I got, I went over to Sabo's. You guys remember Sabo's used to be over there by King Avenue. I saw a pack that looked like it was good. I bought it. It was huge. It was enormous. Didn't fit me at all. I didn't care. It's what I wanted. It took me a while to figure out that it didn't fit. But once I got my pack, I don't know whether you guys can see me, but once I got this pack, I have been set. This is my second Granite gear. It's a 60-liter pack, and it weighs without anything in it about 2 pounds. And it can carry 20 to 30 pounds pretty easily. But it takes time to figure these things out. When it comes to you measure your torso size from the back of your neck down to where your belt would be. And that can give you a general idea of what size backpack you will need as far as the frame is concerned. Make sure you don't get anything too big, because you will be uncomfortable if you do that. And if it's right, you've got X amount. Most of the stuff will be carried on your hips, and a little bit will be carried on your shoulders. You don't want too much on your shoulders because you really get sore. You don't want too much on your hips because you'll really get sore. You want to have that balance. And when you find the right balance, that backpack feels like a part of your body, really. And when you're on the trail, your backpack never gets too far away from you because it's got pretty much your life in it. And it becomes a part of your body if it fits right. So when you get out there and you start looking at backpacks, make sure you take some time to make sure you've got something that seems to fit. You can put it on in the store, put some things in it, see how it feels, see if it feels close to you, doesn't feel like it's pulling away from your body, that it's adjusted properly, and then you probably have the right backpack. And I think the Bartses, didn't you say you have some backpacks and you're ready to go, but they were old?
They're not old, but we do have backpacks.
Okay.
And they fit pretty well.
And they fit well.
So you're feeling pretty good about it. Okay, good.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Okay, let's go to the next page and see what else they have to say. Hopefully I won't have any more trouble with negotiating this. It doesn't seem to want, I noticed I can't seem to negotiate down on the page so we can read it. Damn it. I figured this out earlier and I don't know why I can't figure it out now. But this is, they talk about external frame packs versus regular packs. You guys remember the external frame packs? And actually, I think I have backpacked in recent years with a person who was absolutely set on external frame packs. I bought one for my son back in 2010, and he loved it. And of course, it was very versatile. But the internal frame packs, it's hard to beat, and that's certainly where you want to go. This looks like a nice pack right here. My husband has got a brand new Osprey, relatively brand new. It's a couple of years old now, and he swears by it, as does Doug Kitchen, the intrepid Doug Kitchen that we keep talking about, who was our trip leader for so many years. He's gone through a variety of Ospreys and really loves them. They're not cheap, but considering what you put them through, I think they're worth taking a look at if they work for your frame. So here we go about size and capacity. Right here it says 15 to 30 liters. That's a day hike pack when you get out for a day. My pack that's right here is a 60-liter pack, and I've been out for 10 days with it. It's a matter of making sure that you get. I don't like getting too big a pack because I think you pack too big things. You learn how to gear down by having, no greater than 60 liters. And none of us are getting any younger from what I can tell. And as you get older, you want to make sure you've got the lightest pack possible so that you can enjoy yourself and not feel miserable while you're out on the trail.
Mary Ellen, can I
Yes.
pipe in here? I mean, those of you who are, probably 40 years old or 50 years old or older do remember the metal frame packs.
Right.
And I can tell you from experience, it's nice to know that those really, I don't know that they make those anymore.
They do. They do. Some
do.
people swear by them. Yeah.
I will comment, I have spent some time, particularly one notable memory I have of metal frame packs was in the White Mountains of New Hampshire. There's some fairly nice peaks up there. I was up there in my 20s, one 4th of July, and a thunderstorm blew up. And parts of the White Mountains are above tree line, so you're very exposed. And depending on where you go hiking, this isn't likely to happen to you in Ohio, but depending on where you go camping or hiking, you might end up above tree line sometimes. I can tell you there were hundreds of packs dropped on that mountain and left when that thunderstorm blew up because you don't want to be caught in lightning with a metal frame pack above tree line.
Absolutely not. Absolutely.
Good riddance, I say, to metal frame packs.
Right. Well, they call them external frame packs versus internal frame packs. The internal frame packs are it. And oh yes, we've been chased off many a mountain with a thunderstorm coming when you're above tree line, and you really have to be careful. But that's a whole other story. If you want to get into it, when you are up way high in the mountains, there's a lot of different things that happen. Including particularly, say, in the Wind River Mountain Range, every afternoon there's a thunderstorm. You don't want to find yourself out exposed in a thunderstorm. You want to make sure that you time your walk, your hiking accordingly, so that you don't find yourself exposed. I mean, it's a really odd feeling to have your hair stand on end literally in a thunderstorm, and you know that the electric is way too close. So it's all about timing, and it's all about making sure you're doing your when you get to about 4 o'clock in the afternoon and you see a storm coming, you're a little bit lower and you get a chance to pitch your tent and get in the tent for the afternoon shower that inevitably happens when you're above 10,000 feet. So there you go. So let's see, where are we? So this is we're talking about the size of the backpack. We did talk about that. 60 liters is just about good. The young woman here that is teaching us talks about 80 liters for 10 days. I find that too big, really. I think 60 is just fine, but don't forget to measure your torso size. So here she's talking about 15 to 30 liters. If you're reading this, you want even more volume for longer trips. The biggest thing in your pack is going to be food and water when you get out there for multiple days. If you're going out for a week or more, you start that trip with a lot of food. And the first day you start eating it down. And by the time you're done with that, week to 10 days, you are light packing it because you've eaten all your food. Oh, one thing to point out, when you do go out and you're out there in the wilderness and you're planning a week or more, make sure that you pack a little extra food, because even the best laid plans can go astray. For instance, Cheryl may remember this. I believe we might have been in the Gila in New Mexico, and we traversed a mountain, and we got to the other side expecting a trail all the way down. First of all, we had a hard time finding the trail. When we found the trail, there was all sorts of deadfall trees everywhere, and it took us hours to get down that mountain, which kind of put us, made us, we were a little later than usual for finishing up that hike. When we're at the top of that mountain, not finding that trail, we're all looking at our pack and our food stashes, saying how much longer can we make this last, because we might be an extra day or two out here. So when you do get into this serious stuff, make sure you pack just a little extra food, just in case something might go wrong. So I don't know, Cheryl, are you still there? You remember that in the Gila? She might not be there. I can't see her. So let's see what they've got next here. How to buy a pack weight. Okay. A typical 60-liter pack weighs 4.5 pounds. It says that's big. When it really depends. This is about this thing without there's Cheryl. Do you remember the Gila? Do you remember when we were trying to find that? Oh, Jesus. This thing weighs about 2 pounds without anything in it. And it does skimp a little. I mean, it's just basically a stuff sack, with a few extras on it. But some of the fancier packs have lots of little compartments and frames and everything. Don't know whether that's, it certainly doesn't appeal to me. It may appeal to you. It also makes the pack weigh more. Actually, Matt, you might remember, we just got rid of a bunch of packs that we had in storage. We used to keep a bunch of equipment to rent out. And this stuff was getting dated. And I took a look at this stuff. We're talking about packs that weighed 10 pounds. They were huge.
And a lot of that equipment has been aged out because it was old. But I will comment that our partner that I talked about earlier, Right On Trek.
Yes.
They are, I think, their plan is to start gear rental. So that's really nice if you're starting out and, you don't want to go out and buy all this equipment from the get-go. It can be very expensive. You're not sure maybe if you're going to stick with backpacking, you might be just tipping your toe into this to see if you like it. And that might be an option, is renting a backpack or borrowing it from somebody for the first few trips.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a good idea. Like I said, we used to keep a bunch of stuff, but the stuff really aged out. Technology continues to advance this equipment, and the stuff nobody was going to want to be carrying the tents and the backpacks that I saw. So we have an opportunity to rent this stuff and try it out and see if we like it, and that's a great thing. So anybody else have any questions? I'm still having difficulties negotiating this damn thing, but we'll continue. Julie, did you have a question? Anybody else? Richard? Dick?
Yes, Mary Ellen. What kind of pack did you say you had?
I have a Granite Gear. Gear. This is a Crown 60. It's my second Granite Gear. I really like it a lot. It's very simple. It's a very simple pack and not very expensive. Cheryl, what are you packing nowadays?
Well, for one, I haven't been out packing for a couple years now, but yeah, no, same as you. Actually, I think I have one of your hand-me-downs as well, because I don't know, you got a little rip in it or something, so you had to get a new one. I don't know, but what you have on yours, which is a real added plus, and my model doesn't account for that little pack. You have a top pack that contains little utilities and stuff, which is so wonderful to have. Those kinds of things, you'll discover that.
This pack, you can buy an additional top pack, which when you're doing extra days, you need the extra space, and it does add extra weight. But on a smaller, 3-4 days, I won't put that top on. But I do have it actually in here somewhere. There it is. There's the top, and you just adjust it onto the top, and it there's a lot of stuff that you have to access quickly. You can put in there. And it works out well. Yeah, you have my old Granite Gear.
Yeah, I have two old Granite Gears now. Yeah, I haven't updated any equipment.
Yeah, I think I got it stuck on a tree one.
Yeah. I just wanted to make a comment about, not to overstate maybe the obvious, but you might remember early on for me, I got fitted for a pack. I got fitted for a pack supposedly by a professional. At the same store you were talking about before, Mary Ellen, and it was my first time out, and I didn't know better. We loaded it up. It seemed like it was fine. We were in the Tetons, right? I mean, I ended up having neck surgery as a result of well, as a result of a spur I had anyway, but an ill-fitting pack that just kept sliding on my hips, just did me in. So it's, yeah, getting a pack that fits is, I can't underscore that enough.
I think it was Pelican Valley. We went out, it was you and me and Doug. And I remember looking back at you and she was dragging. And I looked back at her and she looked like she was just making it. And she had actually slipped a disc in her neck as a result of this and ended up with the neck surgery when she came back. Yeah, that was.
I guess that you should always take your gear on a couple night overnight as a test before you go on a big hike, I would say.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Actually, Mary, you went out and bought a whole bunch of new equipment and you almost froze when in Yosemite. I remember that. And then you were ruining the day that you had actually went out and bought the stuff because it wasn't sufficient. Do you remember that?
It was the sleeping bag that, had a brand new sleeping bag. And that was a mistake that, to go out on a big trip with a new piece of equipment that I had not tested. And that, not being able to sleep comfortably, that was a mistake.
Yeah, we were there too. Yeah. Yeah. I remember that. Yeah. So you need an additional package. Yeah, that's that. We'll talk about sleeping bags here in a minute here, I think. Let's see what's next. Okay. Anybody have
Mary Ellen, I'm sorry. Could I ask?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I got booted. My Zoom froze right about the time you queued me up for an intro, but I just want to ask about what would you say the typical lifespan is for a backpack? How often would you replace your pack?
Really depends on how hard you are with it, and how lightweight the material is. Some of these super lightweight things are just they will rip easily. And like I said, Cheryl's got one that's got a rip in it from me that I caught it on a tree. So you're going under a downed tree and ripped it. And I think we've tried to fix it up sometimes, but she uses it. But I've had this for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, something like that. They do talk about taking care of your equipment here at some point. They probably can teach me something there because I generally put the stuff in a big crate and put it in storage for the winter. There was a time that I used to get out every month, at least for an overnight. My life doesn't accommodate that at this point now, and so I do put my stuff in storage, but I do think about it every now and again. I'd like to be out. And we're going to get out. Maybe we'll do a car camping trip with lots of equipment and talk about what's good and not good. Maybe we'll get a group campsite over at Delaware State Park and talk about equipment. I've got a lot I can share too, as well as Right on Trek has their stuff that we can rent. So that's cool stuff. Let's see what's next. You ready? There you go. Once you zero in on capacity, features, and price range of the pack you want, it's time to start trying on models. One thing I can tell you is that the price of backpacks has gone down considerably. It was really getting up there, but people they're simplifying and the prices are going down, which is a good thing. I don't know why I can't get this thing to advance, but it just won't do it. It did it before. So yeah, you can, I would say check Backpacker magazine and try to see what you've got. REI is here. We've got several groups here. I really miss having a local outfitting shop here. I very much miss that outdoor source, this Appalachian Trail map that I've got on the wall here. I got that one of the last days at Outdoor Source, and they shared that with me. But I've been a member of REI. I got my first membership out west, and have been getting gear online for quite some time. So they have a lot of good information there, and you can always take it back within a year. If something doesn't work for you, you can always take it back, and then they have gear swaps. So that's another thing, actually, Matt. We should talk about doing a gear swap. You were approached by someone who has two packs for sale. We could do a gear swap at some point and make it a fundraiser for Columbus Outdoor Pursuits.
Yes, and I think, Mary Ellen, maybe you can speak to this. REI, don't they have a sale every year where they sell this gear that's come back. Maybe it
called a
wasn't
garage, garage sale. Yeah.
wasn't quite right for somebody. So
Yeah.
that's a really good way to pick up something really inexpensively if you're
Yes.
just starting out, you
Yes.
know, rather than dropping a few $100 on a backpack that you might or might not use forever. So
Right.
keep an eye out for that REI. Is it called
It's a
yard sale?
Yeah, it's a garage sale, and
Garage sale. Yeah.
it's like at 8 o'clock in the morning. It starts at 8 o'clock in the morning, and you got to get there early. I have gotten some good stuff. It's a real good thing. And again, their return policy, like I said, within a year, you know, if it doesn't work for you, they'll take it back. So that's a good thing. Still trying to get this thing to forward while I've got you guys on here. But let's go to, we've done backpacks. Let's look at tents for a bit, if we can. Here we go.
When choosing your shelter, one thing to consider is who you're camping with. If you're camping with more people or animals, or you have a larger stature, you're going to need a larger tent. At the same time, you need to balance that size of your tent with the overall packability of it. Is it too heavy to carry over a long distance? Does it fit well in your backpack? There's a world of difference between a tent that's been created specifically for backpacking and one that's made for car camping.
Absolutely. And we talked about that before. You get, you know, those car camping tents are just, you know, they're wonderful. I've got a King Dome, sleeps 4. I've got a garage on it and everything, but it's for car camping, you know? Yeah, I can park my bikes in the garage. It's fabulous. But again, I would never backpack with that. You can't. You just cannot do it. And life is too damn short to be miserable. If you want to be out there and feel good, you have to go lightweight. And I have been very impressed with Six Moons designs. I have a single, my single tent is a Six Moons. It weighs 2 pounds. I did get, now that I'm married, I have a 2-person tent that is very spacious. It is about 2.5 pounds. And that's the way to go. And again, Six Moons designs, you might check them out. I like them a lot. Most of my friends, and actually Cheryl and Mary can talk about this a little bit, and Janice, who I know is still there. Most of my friends have a freestanding tent. I don't have a freestanding shelter. I've never had one. In other words, I have to guy out my tents. And I use my hiking poles for a structure. But most of my friends have a freestanding tent, and they like them a lot. Cheryl, do you want to talk about that a little bit? But I don't know what you have at this point.
Yeah, I just have got about 5 this weekend. I was going to go put them all out again somewhere and see really what I've got. But yeah, I mean, Mary Ellen's Six Moons is really lovely. And of course, if you use your own poles, you know, you are carrying less weight because you have your poles anyway. So, but again, you know, the cooler and the lighter the tent, the more you're going to pay, I think. So I've always tended toward the cheap, and I'm, you know, and it doesn't really add up in the end because I'm never terribly happy with the little cheap thing I got. So then I get another thing that's just, you know, a little less cheap. But I'll have a single person, but it's like a mummy bag, which feels almost claustrophobic.
Yeah,
actually.
that's my problem with them. I
Yeah.
feel like I'm in a, yeah.
I just was trying to go really small and as light as I could without a great expense. And I don't feel comfortable in it. You know, I can't sit up to kind of like change clothes or, you know, find anything. So it's hard. It's hardly worth it really to go that small for me. And I'm a very small person. So yeah, there's just so many options out there with tents, and I could easily go buy more that I would like better. I have a resistance around spending yet more money for gear that I'm not even using that much.
Well, and let's share. I've got all those. I got all those tarps. Don't forget. So
okay.
And we can share, and they're quite spacious. Cheryl and I shared a tent in the Gila Wilderness in New Mexico. We shared one of my tarps. And I'm trying to think of where else we
We
went.
shared in Yosemite in the same valley where Mary nearly froze because she was up all night so cold.
Yeah, yeah.
You stayed up half the night finding more clothes in your bag to keep putting on top of me because I was so cold. Yeah, we shared a lot of tents.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we shared.
So, and I still have all those things. I've got, and again, we should, she was talking about getting together, Cheryl, wait until let's get a group campsite over at Delaware State Park and have everybody come, and we can talk about the gear that we can share, and gear that works for us and doesn't work for us, and how it is to pack a pack. Let's see what's next. Does anybody else have anything else to say at this point? I think we're good. Janice has been strangely quiet. I haven't seen her. I'm having a hard time with this thing. I can't get to where I want to get, but we'll try. How to buy a tent. Capacity. Well, we talked about that. 2-person tent for maximum versatility. A lot of people do that. Again, these smaller tents are claustrophobic as hell. We got, Doug and I got stuck when we were on the John Muir Trail in a hailstorm. And he set up his tent really quickly and we jumped in. That's the first and probably only time I've been in one of those tents. And I'm a funeral director. I know a whole lot about caskets. And I felt like I was in a casket.
Exactly.
So I like a little more spaciousness, but there's always a trade-off. You have to know how to guy it out. You have to guy it out appropriately. When I was on the John Muir Trail, there is a place to drive a stake. So I had to guy it out with rocks, and I had to because I knew I was going to be doing that. I was prepared to do that, and I had the appropriate guidelines to do it. But it does take a little bit more to be able to use a tent like that. And when we get out, I can show you my tent. So there you go. And you can get a good single person tent. I've got one, but it's probably smart, especially the Bart's you should have a 2-person tent. Obviously, you probably have one, don't you?
Yeah, we have a REI quarter dome that works out pretty well. It's a freestanding tent, and
Yeah,
it's about, I think it's a little bit over 3 pounds.
That's not bad.
And so I carry half, she carries half, and it works
There you
out
go.
pretty well.
That's how it works.
I was wondering if anyone has an experience with single wall tents,
Yeah, that's what I use.
other than the tarp.
Well, yes, I mean, my experience is dated, but I bought one of the first single walled tents that came out, produced in the 90s, mid 90s from Bibler. And, I still use it to this day. It's not light by today's standards. Then it was light, but I would say it was almost never completely waterproof. It wasn't perfect, but I also wanted to chime in about Mary Ellen said about the size of a tent. And this, this kind of, for somebody who's starting out, and there are a few people on here, one thing to consider is this. I mean, chances are your first backpacking trip is going to be 7 days. The way to do this is to tiptoe into it one night.
Precisely.
Maybe later you'll do a 2-night, and most of my trips were 2 or 3 nights, quite frankly. I didn't do really huge trips very often, but one thing to consider, and everybody's going to be different about this, every once in a while you'll have a rainy day. It rains all day. And as a backpacker, there's 2 types of people. Some people will slug it out and say, I'm gonna hike today. I was one of those backpackers that was okay taking a day off, and I'd lay in my tent and read. And that was my experience out in the outdoors. I was okay with that. I know people who would never do that. They would be hiking no matter what. So that's something to consider when you buy a tent. Mary Ellen said some of these tents you can't sit up in. Well, you wouldn't want to be in a tent like that all day if it was raining.
No, not if it was a bivvy. Yeah.
If you're the kind of person that could lay around for several hours and read a book, maybe change your clothes, you're going to want something to sit up in. So
Yeah,
just
Matt,
you can consider.
Yeah, you bring up a really good point here. One thing that I do like to talk about when I talk about backpacking, there's 2 skill sets for backpacking. There's the walking, the hiking, and then there's the campcraft. some people really, really love the campcraft, and they basically walk a few miles just to set up camp again and make a pot of chili or whatever they're going to do, and noodle around there. And other people want to walk all day, and camping is minimal, and they pitch the tent, make dinner, go to bed, get up and do it again. And so you've got those two things, and there's usually a balance between those two skill sets. Most all of us know how to walk, and we've done quite a bit of that. At least maybe you haven't done a whole bunch of elevation, but when it comes to the campcraft, that's what we're here really to learn. Campcraft on the trail, and that's that is one thing in Ohio, and it's another thing when you're in Wyoming at 10,000 feet. And you learn that if you decide you want to go out there and do that kind of stuff, how it changes, what you need, and how you respond to the wilderness. So yeah. What kind, and it was yours a one person or a 2-person tent, Matt?
I think mine was a 3-person tent.
Oh,
which
dear.
oddly, fits 2 people comfortably and 3 in a pinch. So
Yeah,
that's
gotcha.
that's a good way to think about some of these designations too. If you're spending every night in the tent with somebody else, it was comfortable for a 2-person, and your gear may be in the middle or something like that, where you wanted to have some of your gear inside or some of your belongings. But yeah, it would sleep 3, but it was like, Lincoln logs in there if you had 3. So that's one thing to consider.
Yeah. You want a big vestibule, which is a place where, you can see on this tent in this picture right here, it has a vestibule, and you saw her put her backpack in there. That's a good thing. That's a good thing, not in bear country. In bear country, you want to keep your stuff away from the tent because you don't want the bears rummaging around in your tent. So you learn how to either hang or do other bear safe measures.
It's 8 o'clock.
If we get to West Virginia, we're going to have to worry about bears. And I believe, actually, Cheryl, you've done pictured rocks. We're talking about doing pictured rocks again. Do we have bears up there? Do you have bear safety protocol there at Pictured Rocks? Unmute yourself, please.
Yeah. Never saw bear, never really heard about bear, but we usually did, take measures.
Okay. All right, good. Yeah, and that's one of the things outings we're talking about, getting together with Right on Trek. So that'll be quite cool. We're at 1 hour already, and let's see what's next. How's everybody's doing here? You still hanging with me? You want to do more later? We're good. We're okay. Let's go. Okay, here's your single wall versus double wall. The double wall tents are most common because they are the most versatile. They consist of a main tent body with mesh tents and ceiling, and then a removable rain fly that sits over the body. If you're expecting good weather, you can ditch the fly to see the stars, and some models allow you to leave the tent body at home. Just use the rain fly and footprint to save weight. Single wall tents, which is what I have, they're lighter than double walls, as you might expect of a structure that with half as many walls. However, they don't ventilate so well. This is true. You have to make sure that they're ventilated properly. So you're more likely to wake up with heavy condensation on the inside of your tent. That is, unless you keep it a little bit open. And wet tents are harder to pack and heavier to carry. Some hybrid models combine single and double wall construction in an effort to get the benefits of both. And when we get out there, I'll show you mine so you can see what we're talking about. No tent is perfect for all conditions. You'll also discover your own priorities over time. Some people can't live without the mesh pockets or ceiling hooks or for hanging clotheslines. Some would rather spend a long morning drying a wet tent than carry a heavy double wall. So there you go. So it's, again, there's different ways to do this. You really should try things out and see what you like. Yeah, 3 pounds is not bad for the REI. REI, they do a good job. I've got a Kingdom 4-person. Okay, let's see. Temperature ratings. Here we are. We're into sleeping bags here.
Oh,
Yes.
I was going to say, I just bought a new tent. I haven't tried it out yet, but Outdoor Vitals, which kind of looks like some of the Six Moon sort of.
Yeah.
2 pounds, 14 ounces. And I'm going with my son to Camp Philmont in New Mexico with the Scouts this summer. So I try something lighter then.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. So I'm interested to hear what you think about it. Maybe if we do this car camping business, or get out and do a group camp, you should bring it so we can take a look at it. I always like to look at new equipment. Actually, Cheryl and I were out, it was last spring already, with Eva Simons, and she had all the cool gear. So we have to invite Eva to bring her cool gear so we can see it. So mine's, time goes on and my stuff gets dated. So let's see what she has to say about our value in sleeping systems.
When it comes to your sleep system, your sleeping bag will come in one of two materials, down or synthetic. They both have strengths and weaknesses. A synthetic bag is going to be a little bit heavier, but if a down sleeping bag gets wet, it won't keep you warm anymore. Now, there are water repellent down fillings which will help retain heat if your bag gets wet. Speaking of warmth, sleeping bags come with a temperature rating. It might say 20 degrees Fahrenheit, it might say 40 degrees Fahrenheit. What that means is that your bag has been tested to keep you warm down to that temperature. This might change depending on your own physiology. I tend to sleep really, really cold, so I opt for a sleeping bag that's been rated at a lower temperature than conditions might normally require. The other part of your sleep system is your sleeping pad, which also comes in two different materials. You can get a closed-cell foam sleeping pad or an inflatable pad. The only difference here is comfort, and most gear stores will let you try them out before you buy.
There you go. I had to pull out, I realized I have two sleeping pads behind this couch right here. So there's one right there. And these are Thermarests. I love Thermarest. And these are the dual. You blow them up as well as it's got foam in them, which is not a bad idea, but they are bigger than what I generally carry at this point. I carry an inflatable because it's tiny and it works really well unless you puncture it. And I was out, where was I? Oh God. I think I was in the winds, probably in the winds. I've done 5 to 6 trips in the wind or the mountain range, and my inflatable pad deflated, and I had a very, very, luckily it was the last night. No, it wasn't. Yeah, it was, because I had a really cold night, didn't sleep. And so that's the drawback with having the inflatos. Does anybody have any other comments about sleeping pads? Are essential to get comfortable. Particularly, my husband is new to backpacking. He loves to walk. He'll walk all day, but campcraft is something that he's brand new to, and he didn't like that idea of sleeping on the ground. So we went and bought is it a Big Agnes? Some big sleeping pad, an extra size to accommodate him, and he loves it. He loves it. He's very comfortable out there. He also has a sleeping bag that is a little bit bigger, but it's a little bit warmer. I was lucky enough to nab a Western Mountaineering 1-pound sleeping bag that's rated down to, I think, 40 degrees. I got that it's a 1-pounder, and I got it on sale with the old Benchmark, and they're really hard to find. Western Mountaineering is a really primo organization, but I augment that with a Thermarest quilt when I'm going to go, and I know I'm going to be high in the mountains, and it's going to get down to below freezing every night. So I carry 2. So anybody else have anything on this is an interesting thing. You can spend more money and get less weight and go for down. Down has its drawbacks, but a lot of people love the synthetics, but they weigh more. Janice, what are you carrying?
I'm trying to decide that. I have a variety of sleeping bags and I need to weigh them all. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, I highly recommend a liner. It can help keep you warm. I have a silk liner. It's just a tiny little thing, but it works really well. It adds a few degrees. And of course, if you're really cold, you always have a long underwear with you. Oh, that's the other thing. It's really important when you've been sweaty all day and you get into camp and you pitch your tent, change your shirt because you're probably a little moist. And if you're moist, you might get cold. And you don't want to be cold. So change out, get rid of the sweaty shirt, hang it up to dry, and put something else on that'll keep you warmer. It really a smart thing to do. You don't want to get sweaty out there. It's important to make sure you're not wearing cotton. Does everybody knows about cotton, right? You don't wear cotton out in the, yeah, okay, good. You want to wear a technical shirt if you're going to get sweaty. It might smell, or you might wear wool. It doesn't smell, and it costs more, but it certainly performs at a high level. So let's see what else they have. Does anybody else have anything to say on this?
I just a comment about, I
Yeah.
still use the old school blow up Thermarest 3/4 length.
that's
Just to save. Yeah, that's still what I do. I have tried, I haven't tried that many different options, but some of the other more quilted kind of material, for me, the ones that I've had, every time I move, it squeaks or
Yes,
just
I know. I know, it squeaks. It's
squeaks.
just Cheryl, go to sleep. Stop. There she is. You can hear her squish, squish, squish. Jeez.
So I don't use that. So I'll just use that old school Thermarest, and usually, and then, just a partial egg crate, those little folding mat things for extra hip. And then you use those often to sit on rocks to eat lunch.
Yeah, do I have it in here? There's a Z-Rest. No, it's not. It's in my day pack because I had packed it. Z-Rest makes a tiny, a small Z pack, and I always have it on the top of my pack because when we stop, I put it down and sit on it, and it's kind of a lovely addition, and it does help. At night, you can throw that underneath your hips where you might need extra padding. When you're in the tent and you're trying to be comfortable, and that's always hard, going from one side to the other side, and you're just trying to get comfortable. So let's see what's next.
Mary Ellen.
Yes.
This is Annette Bartz.
Hi.
I have a question about emergency blankets. The little fold up things. Have you ever used those to help you when it's really cold at night?
No, keep it as an emergency. I always have. Actually, we've got two, one for him and one for me, and we keep it there just in case somebody gets hurt and they need it. But no, I've never tried that. I think they'd be kind of uncomfortable, sort of sticky. I'd recommend, if you need a little extra, just get a sleeping bag liner. I got some bigger it was polypropylene or something, and they're very they feel really good, but they were a little big. So I got the silk one, and the silk one's it packs down to about yay, and it works really well. If you need a little extra. No, have you used yours at all?
No, well, we have the liners also, but I've thought our daughter and son-in-law went up to Alaska to backpack, and we got them for them to take up. And I asked her, did they ever use them there? And she said no. So I wondered if it's
for
if it would
emergency.
be worthwhile.
I'll tell a story, and actually Cheryl might be able to chime in on this too. We were out walking at Clear Creek with Eva Simons, and you all might know Eva. She's a monster. She's wonderful. She's a tremendous backpacker, bike packer, skier. She does a lot of gravel grinding. She's out there almost every day. Anyway, she proceeds to tell a story. Actually, I think it was Mitzi and Eva and I. She was out there at Clear Creek one year, and she happened to take a bad step onto some wet leaves and broke her leg.
Yeah.
The incredible Eva Simons fell and broke her leg at Clear Creek at a metro park, and ended up having to be emergency'd out of there. That's why you carry one of those. You carry that in case somebody gets hurt and they need to be warm. And I kind of want to keep it with my first aid kit. I can just imagine that Eva would have needed that as she was waiting with a broken leg and unable to move to be dragged out of there. So yeah, that was quite a story, and it made me think, God, we really, you go for all these years and we do all this hiking and all this kind of stuff, and we've so far escaped harm, but Eva's still out there doing it, and she I think I would have slowed down for a couple years had I broken a leg. So yeah.
Oh,
Is he-
what did you say that you take on colder nights with you?
I have a quilt. I have a thermarest quilt, and it doesn't have a back to it, and it doesn't have a zipper. So if I need extra, along with my Western mountaineering bag, I add that, and I can probably get down to 0. And of course, you wear your you wear your warm stuff when you're in there, and you've got a liner as well. But look at thermarest quilts. There are other people making quilts as well. You probably don't know that we've got a guy who was a trip leader and has done COP in past, and I'd love to get him re-engaged. Jim Villacraze, he actually makes his own equipment, and I would love to get him to do a little tutorial on the stuff that he's made. But he's hoping to do a through hike on something this year. We were in touch, I don't know, about a month or so ago, but I wish he was on this, and maybe we can get him going again. But Jim Villacraze, he started just like you, Janice, with Ann Gherkins. So.
Mary Ellen, I was looking at some notes that from Eva, from the things that she had listed. I wrote them all down. My notes say that she does put an emergency foil blanket on the ground in her tent.
She does. No kidding. Well, there you go. So it does reflect, but so does my my blow up thing has reflecting qualities. My blow up pad, so it does reflect the body heat, and so so that's interesting. She does. Wow. Well, there you go. See, she should be here to talk about that. We have to get her going. Okay, let's see what's next. Oh, there you go. This is where I got stuck earlier. Damn it. Temp rating. You know, this temp rating business, all with a grain of salt. Just be very careful. It'll tell you that it's down to 0, but you might freeze. So just be very careful. But you probably get a little more rather than a little less. Like I said, I augment my system depending on what conditions I have. So since I have 2, if I know it's going to be cold, I take 2. I take everything. If I know it's going to be warm, you know, relatively warm, I might just take my 1-pound sleeping bag. So it's highly variable, and it's nice to have the opportunity to be flexible. Let's see if I can get this thing to go. See, it won't let me get to the next screen. I had this problem earlier. Let's no, that's where we were before. Let's go to, this is layering, and this is about clothes, apparel overview. No, it's not going to let me go. See, it's got me stuck. It may be time to quit too. What time is it, Matt?
8:15.
Okay.
That's up to you.
This is where I got stuck last time, but I got it to go, and I think it has something to do with being on screen share. I can't get to the thing to move.
Is the backpacker backpacking 101? Did you pay for it, or could we access it for free?
You can access what we've done already because we're recording it, right, Matt?
Yes.
What we might do is regroup next week, and I'll see if I can fiddle with this and make sure I understand. I had it freeze on me like this before, and I was able to liberate it, but it was just, I had already gotten off Zoom. I think it has something to do with being on Zoom. It just doesn't let me move as well as I'd like to be moving here. Let's see. Now, all about gear, knowing your pack. See that all these things we need to get to here. See, I can't, here, what's this doing here? There we go. Okay, now it's doing it. Okay, this is about clothing. You guys want to go on with clothing?
Yes, I think we should.
Okay.
Because there's people that signed up for next week and they're expecting different subjects.
Oh. Okay, layering systems, huh? Layering is a science, and it comes with a bit of jargon, lightweight, midweight, and heavyweight. Do you all know this stuff? Socks. Do you know about socks? Let's go back to that whole thing about boots. Socks are really important. And once you find some really good socks, you never go back. I am a huge fan of Darn Tough socks. I got a pair out west on a whim one time, and I went, oh my God, I can't believe the difference. Actually, Tim and I went out for a hike a week or so ago, and I had a pair of socks on that wasn't a Darn Tough, and they started to fold in underneath my feet on me and start to create a pressure point. And Darn Tough socks don't do that. So I highly recommend them. Actually, I gave Darn Tough socks to all my family for Christmas. Once you get into them, you won't regret it. Also, liners, especially if you're going to be doing a lot, liners are really good. They really help minimize the amount of blistering you might get. Do you all use liners? Especially, try the Darn Toughs. You might not need them for, but if you're doing 20-mile days, you might want some liners. And I have some with a little silver in them that keeps them from stinking, which is very nice. And they're very, very lightweight. So you've seen those, Cheryl, haven't you? They're really ugly, but boy, do they work.
Very, very, very important too if you're sharing that tent.
That's right. That's right. Pants and shorts. Okay, there's another thing. I see a lot of folks out there with shorts on. I don't like to expose my legs. I really don't. I get extremely lightweight pants, but they're full length. I've had way too many dings and bangs being out there with shorts on. Not to mention mosquito bites and all that good stuff. So I like to wear long pants. Anybody out there is a shorts fan when you get out there, you're backpacking? You ever seen those through hikers coming through and they've got their running shoes and they've got their running shorts on? And I'm thinking, I don't want to be that exposed when I'm out there. I wear full length. I roll them up sometimes, but I wear a bug free shirt that's extremely lightweight, but it keeps the bugs off and I don't end up with dings and bangs on my arms as well. Anybody else have anything else to say about that? Of course, again, it's highly variable. This is stuff I do, but I see a lot of people out there who don't do that. And, a lot of young people don't use hiking poles, hiking sticks, leckies or whatever. I'm a huge fan. I love them. They're extra feet. They've saved my butt more than once from falling down a mountain. And so I'm a huge fan. And again, I use it to pitch my tent. So I'm a big believer there, but you'll see just as many people out there who don't like them, don't use them. It uses about, it uses your upper body, which is nice to do when you're out there, and it takes the weight off your knees and other joints. And when you're I don't know anybody getting any younger. We're all getting older. It's nice to be able to reduce the stress and strain on your joints when you're out there for extended periods of time. Gaiters are good. I've got some low gaiters. It really depends on the trail that you're on, whether you wear gaiters or not. I've got a pair that I like a lot, and I on and off. It really depends on the trail. If I think I'm going to have trouble with a lot of dust that's going to get in my shoes, I'll probably put a pair of gaiters on. But I've got a pair a low and lightweight. It just goes up to up my ankle, and they're good. On and off I use them. Base layer bottoms. I am a huge fan of wool base layer bottoms and tops. I have extremely lightweight wool long underwear that I usually sleep in, and I use it to keep myself warm if you've got a cold morning. Big believer, invest in wool, get it, you won't be sorry. Sports bras, yes. Well, of course. I've got one on right now. Lady specific layers I don't know whether there's anything there. You know, you got to find the right underpants. Bring one extra pair of underpants that are extremely lightweight and you can wash them out. If you're going to be out for an extended period of time, you can switch them out. And you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Of course, Cheryl, yes, sleeping in a sweaty bra is no fun. Of course not. Take it off. Oh my God.
Well, no, I don't ever wear one, but so anyway.
Yeah, well,
That's personal.
we're sharing a little too much. Let's see if I can get this thing to move now. See, the damn thing is going to get stuck again. Okay. See, it gave me an opportunity to move things just a minute ago, and now it's going to stop. Heck. Let's see. Okay, I'm moving you folks. Let's see. Sports bras, shirt, you know, a base layer top. Well, you know, we talked about that. You know, again, wool, lightweight wool. I have midweight wool for cross country skiing, but you know, when I'm out, it's very lightweight wool, and it usually, for the most part, it stays in the pack till the evening. And that's when you change your shirt off. And I told you, you get sweaty. You want to take that sweaty shirt off and put a nice warm dry shirt on to keep yourself from getting too cold when you get into camp. Any other things that we want to talk about here?
Yeah, I know in bear country,
Oh gosh,
they like you to sleep in clothes that you don't eat in. So are you?
It's
what?
a smart thing to do. A lot of people do that. It depends on how careful you are with your food.
Yeah.
But
and so it almost sounds like you're suggesting to have something to change into once you get to camp, which you
Yeah.
might eat in, and then have something separate then. In
well,
addition to
that sounds like
sleeping?
overkill. I'd say that maybe if you're going to do that whole thing about hanging your clothes, Cheryl, so I have not hung my clothes. I have to say I'm pretty careful. I don't hang my clothes. But I hang everything else. I mean, you know, how far can you go? I know people who have eaten in their tents. That is a big no-no. And if you're in grizzly country, you want to triangulate 100 yards. So your tent is one place, you eat 100 yards away, and you put your food another 100 yards away. So you triangulate because you don't want grizzlies in your tent, and you want to make sure that you keep anything smelly out of your tent. So if you take your clothes off and you hang them up on a tree and you're in your, you know, that's fine. At least it's not in your tent, right? Does that make sense, Dick? But you know, you've got a bear canister usually, and the bear canister is over there, and you want your toiletries and everything in there. So, you know, we can go over bear protocol. Sometimes bear protocol can be pretty wacky. And we used to have a lot of fun actually trying to hang going out. It's at the end of the day and you got to go out and hang your food, you know, and it's like, okay, you know, and, you know, we go out there and it's usually, you know, usually bash yourself in the face with a carabiner or something like that, but you're throwing it up in the, you know, and then somebody's trying to catch it and, you know, and you get it up there. But you can avoid that by carrying an extra pound or two with a bear canister, and then the bear canister, you just put it over there. And if the bear decides to try to get in it, at least they're over there and they're not in your tent. Cheryl, do you remember when we were in Killarney?
Oh yeah. Oh,
First, we're walking into Killarney. This is the Killarney Provincial Park up in Ontario. They have a lovely trail called La Cloche Silhouette Trail. We were out. It's 100 kilometers, I believe, which is 60 miles. We were out there, and first night we come across this husband and wife coming back in. They had to abort their trip because they were in their tent. Their dog puked in the tent, and the bears came. So not only did they have dog puke in the tent, the bears, you know, in addition to it, they just said, "To hell with this, we got to get out of here." And they left. You remember that? That was really funny, but again, their misfortune. So yeah, you don't want to you don't want to mess with the bears. You do the best you can to keep them away. But you know, that's a West Virginia trip. You learn that quickly in West Virginia, and those are black bears. Black bear protocol is a little bit different than grizzly protocol, and grizzlies are scary. Don't want to mess with them. Okay, let's see. See if I can actually get off this screen here. I got to put you guys somewhere. If I can get this damn thing to move. See, I got it to move. Here we go. See, it was there. It was there. There was a little thing that I could move over here on the side, and it just disappeared. Damn it. Now I'm stuck again.
You might try stopping the screen sharing temporarily, moving it, and then sharing again. I don't know if that'll work or not.
I don't know. I don't know. Let me see. So in other words, stop. Okay. Stop, pause share, stop video, screen share, stop share. Okay, here we go. I'm going to lose you guys for a minute. Okay, now go what? Here we go. Resume course. Layering system. Here we go. Rain gear. Okay. Okay. How do I now I want to share again. How do I get back to you guys?
At the bottom, the green share screen.
Don't have it.
Oh.
Don't have it. Let me make this smaller. There we go. Let me get back to Zoom. No. Share screen.
If you move off the people, you'll see the green button appear at the bottom. It says share screen.
No, not happening.
There you go.
There it goes. Okay, good. That happened. Good. Okay, we're at the rain gear. This is good. And this one has also got me stuck, damn it. But we will do the best we can. I don't know, does everybody want to talk about rain shells? I have been back and forth, and I end up ultimately on big trips that I know I'm going to get rained on, taking one that I bought nearly 20 years ago. It's a little heavier, but I know that it works. And I've tried some other more lightweight things, and you can drop a lot of bills on rain gear. I'd be really careful. Because not all of it is that great. Does anybody else want to talk about rain gear? Here we go. Look, it's actually moving. Can you believe that? Do I need rain pants? Wow, that really depends. Some of these places, if you go down to West Virginia, you're probably going to get rained on. Sometimes rain pants can be hot and sticky, and actually you'll get wetter in the pants than you would without wearing the pants. If you've got lightweight pants that dry quickly, it might be just as well to get wet, let your pants get wet, and then dry them naturally. But I have rain pants. I have some pretty heavy duty ones, and I have some pretty lightweight ones. And I can tell you the lightweight ones I probably use more. Breathability is really important. It's really hard to find. You can drop $500 on a good rain jacket and still not be happy with it. So all I can say is be very careful. Does that, Janice, did you want to talk about rain gear at all? Have you had any good success with anything other than the older stuff?
I just bought a couple new ponchos, but I have not used them yet. So
okay. Yeah, I bought a poncho and I used it. Actually, Cheryl went with Tim and I, and Cheryl went to Portugal year before last, and I thought I was being really smart, and I got this rain poncho, and it started to rain. We were on the coast of Portugal. It was really beautiful. Highly recommended. It's called the Rota Vicentina. We did about 100 miles, and it started to rain, and I pulled that thing out, and it was no good. It's lightweight and it's blowing around. I'd rather have my arms in a sleeve, and I have zip pits. It's yeah. So, well, there you go. Mary Maloney says she's got a 6 a.m. swim time and she's going to wind down. Okay, she just signed off. Yeah, 6 a.m. swim. She's an early riser.
Yeah.
At this point in my life, I am not an early riser. So So we'll catch up with Mary at another time. She does want to start getting out there again. Again, Mary is an amazing person. As I said, she was the lead horticulturalist on a trek across Africa. And this is many moons ago, but she walked nearly all the way across Africa. So
I think if you're starting out too, Mary Ellen, I think the rain pants might be an item that you'd buy later after you really were into backpacking. And honestly, if you're just starting out and you want to tiptoe into backpacking, and you decide that you're going to pick a weekend when it's, as a weather forecaster, we call it severe clear.
Yeah.
There's no chance of rain. You might be able to skip that, investing in a good rain jacket right away.
I'm with
you. Weather's dry.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, Matt, if you don't know, Matt is a recovering meteorologist.
That's a really good strategy. When I was backpacking a lot in my younger years, if you go in times whenever you're certain that it's going to be no rain, you can skip some gear.
Yeah.
You have to be really certain of it. And a raincoat can be a big investment. And so you want to kind of wait on that, I think, before you dump several $100s into one.
Absolutely. Yeah. And watch for sales. I have a marmot. It's a little heavier, but I also bought some of these rain resistant. They don't work. If it really rains on you, they don't work, but the marmot works. We've been out in some severe weather and it works. And it has zippers on the here for ventilation, and it works well. And like I said, it's 20 years old. So Matt's probably right. I think you should slow down, see what you've got in your stuff right now, and use what you've got until if you're getting ready for the big trip and you're going to have some rain, it's probably smart to invest at that time. But starting out, you don't really need this stuff. Let's see. Well, get a jacket, but not pants.
Yeah. Two questions, Mary Ellen.
Yes.
One, have you ever been out with people who have actually carried very small, compact umbrellas?
I like the umbrella factor, but I'm trying to figure out how to use it. They sell those at Six Moons. They've got some really cool ones. They're mostly for a sun, super sunny, protecting yourselves from the sun. But yeah, I like the idea. And no, I don't really know anyone that has used them, but I read about them, and I've been close to buying one, but you have to get something to attach it to your pack, because again, I use poles. I use hiking poles, so I need to be free hands. But have you tried one yet?
We take it car camping a lot.
Okay.
and bike camping.
And bike camping, we've taken it. Did we take it when we went to Utah? No, it was pouring down rain on us at one time.
I'm sure.
A second question. Do you know anyone who's had experience with rain skirts? A good friend of mine who does a lot of backpacking. I think he just got some Tyvek and cut it up and somehow or another put a waistband in it and just had it go below right to the knee. And that way his thighs could stay dry. He'd have a lot of ventilation, and he didn't care that much about the lower part of the calf part of his leg getting wet.
He was a shorts guy. If it works for him, that's great. Not a bad idea. I like the inventiveness of it. Just as easy to put a pair of rain pants on if you really want to, but I'd put rain pants on possibly with shorts, rather than get all sticky in there, or underpants. So.
And I would make another suggestion. If you're going to buy a new rain jacket, it's nice to have the two-way zipper.
Yeah.
So that if you want, you can just zip it where it's only, a little bit, but it stays on you.
Right. That's a great idea. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, but again, these are things that I'd love to get a new one, but I haven't found anything that I really like particularly at this point, and should probably bite the bullet and find something good, but I haven't gotten there yet. Look at Cheryl's looking at me. She's going, yeah, sure, Mary Ellen. Sure, Mary Ellen.
Make her stop, make her stop.
Okay. Let's see what's next. Apparel, optional items. I think we were just wind jackets and shirts. Wait a minute. The rain jacket could also be a wind jacket. Gloves. I always take a pair of gloves unless I'm, down at Shawnee or something like that. And it's, we know it's going to be warm. Yeah, I'm a big gloves fan. But then again, we go up into the mountains. Hats. Oh man, I have a hat that I adore and wear all the time. Sun protection, very, very important when you're at elevation. An extra pair of socks for sleeping, a very good idea. Also, in case you fall in crossing a creek, it's very important to have an extra pair of socks. And I've been known to fall in crossing creeks and needing an extra pair of socks. So yeah, so that's those are always an extra pair of socks. Any other questions there? I'm watching Matt. I'm wondering when he's going to cut me off. Okay, what are they going to say?
This isn't about socks.
Now I'm being outed as an early to bedder too.
Yeah, well, there you go. All right, who's going? Are you going in early to bed, Matt?
You said you caught me, and I have to admit I'm an early to bedder too.
You are 8:38.
So
yeah,
that's why it's time is catching up with me, but it's not the material.
There you go. I gotcha. Okay, let's see what she says here. This is a.
Now there's all sorts of other odds and ends that you're going to need on your backpacking trip to keep you comfortable. A water bottle, a first aid kit, a headlamp, a knife, a compass, and a trowel. When considering all of this gear, factor in functionality, weight, and cost when deciding what to buy. Remember, it's all going on your back eventually.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Really important things. Headlamp, the smallest you can find, but something that works. You absolutely have to have something to be able to see, or else you're crawling around the campsite looking for getting lost. Remember, Cheryl, when you got lost, you couldn't find the tent again? Yes, yeah, I remember that. Yeah. A trowel, that's for pooping in the woods. Who was it that wanted to learn how to poop in the woods?
That'd be Robin.
There you go. Yeah, you will learn this. It is either that or you hold, and that I wouldn't recommend that.
No, it doesn't sound good.
No, it's not very good, but it can be done. You just dig a hole and you go. And they're going to talk about, footwear. Oh gosh, this is huge. I think I started out by talking about how important footwear is, and it can be a lifelong journey to try to find the right footwear. I'm really into the lighter stuff. Cheryl had a pair of Merrells that were full grain leather, beautiful, probably cost a fortune, that she wore for a good 10 years. You probably still have those Merrells.
I do. I don't wear them, but I don't want to pitch them. I need to put them on a pedestal or something somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. At the same time, I had very inexpensive boots that worked really well for me, and then I invested in some more expensive boots that I ended up giving away because I lost my toenails on them. So it's a learning experience. You have to make sure you're buying boots that are big enough so that your toes, you don't lose your toenails. And you will lose your toenails, and people never get them big enough, and it can be extremely miserable. To have your feet go bad. Remember when we were in the Gila, Cheryl, and that one guy, he completely mashed his feet. And we were out there. I mean, we were on a big loop. And we were nowhere near anywhere, and his feet were thrashed. And I remember looking back at him on the trail, and he was hiking barefoot in his boots because he couldn't stand his socks anymore. And he had hamburgered up his every part of his feet. That was really ugly. So I would recommend that again, you try to make sure you get boots that are big, you get socks that are perfect, and you go slow. Learn this slowly. You're all hikers anyway. Everybody's hiked a lot, right? You put in some miles into doing day hiking, so you should know what works for you. It's a little bit different when you're carrying an extra 20 to 30 pounds on your back. Maybe
Yeah,
even 40 pounds on your back.
I think one of the keys I remember from buying boots, and a lot of the experienced people on this call can probably pipe up and agree, is, it may not be obvious the first time, but if you're going out and buying your first pair of maybe serious hiking boots, maybe you don't have quite what you might want on a 2 or 3 night trip. It's really important to break those in before you go out backpacking.
Yeah.
That means wear them around town, wear them to the supermarket, go on a little day hike, break them in, make sure they're okay. You don't want to get your first blister with those out on your 3-day backpacking trip. You want to go out with them a little bit worn already, so they're a little bit broken in and you're unlikely to get that first nasty blister.
Yeah, I'm I'm with the La Sportivas now, and which are basically a glorified running shoe. They have a lovely base that's very sticky. Really like it for grabbing onto rocks when you're climbing or descending. I also use an insert nowadays because as I get older, I'm losing the pads on the base of my feet, base of my toes. They're getting thinner and thinner. So I use just a generic Dr. Scholl's Active insert, and it really, really helps. I remember when I realized that my feet were kind of starting to go to hell when we were on the Muir Trail so many years ago. And I would go up the Muir Trail is a lot of climbing and descending. And I'd go up the hill, up the mountain, and at the top of the mountain, I'd change up and put inserts in my shoes just to go down because the downhill was brutal on my feet. So now, I just switch out the inserts, with something thicker and more comfortable for my feet, and they work out well. I can actually get mine are by the front door right now because we were just out at Great Seal just a couple days ago, and show you what they look like, and I like them a lot. What else are you guys walking in? What are the Bartses walking in?
I have a pair of lightweight Basque.
You like
and
them?
I like them because they have a big toe box, and I have
Yes.
duck feet.
Yes, you
And
want a
so-
big toe box.
And so that was good, and that was about the only kind that the kind of people at Outdoor Source could fit me in. I really like them a lot. And you have, what do you have?
I have Keen, and I really like my Keen. I've gone through a bunch of different kinds of expensive boots and ended up back with
Yeah,
Keen.
I have Keen too.
Cheryl, did you have some Keens? I don't remember.
No, just sandals.
Yeah, the Keen sandals. Yeah.
Yeah, Merrill no longer was producing what it was. It was wide because I have bunions. I needed really wide box. What are my ski boots?
Solomon.
Solomon, yes. So I have Solomons right now. I was just curious too about. I've had both, low risers and high risers in boots, and and I'm not sure what my opinion is. I don't know if anybody has very specific opinions about low versus high.
I like the low. If you can see these, they look like a glorified running shoe, but they've got a lot of support with them. But again, they're extremely light, and when you're walking a lot, you don't want 5 pounds on your feet. It's 5 extra pounds. This is the insert that I use. And again, I took the insert that came with the shoe out and replaced it with this, and they're extremely comfortable and work really well. And again, these are La Sportivas, and La Sportiva makes a whole different, all different types, some higher, some lower. So these with gaiters, you don't need a higher boot. With a low gaiter like that, if you're having trouble, if you're going to have trouble getting, with a rocky or a dusty trail, with crap getting in your shoes, you wear a small gaiter on this and you're good. Of course, I always wear long pants, so that always helps to keep crap out of my shoes.
Yeah, well, there's the ankle support issue that at least I used to hear about, which compelled me to get higher ones just to give me extra support for certain kind of climbing, certain kind of terrain.
Yeah, it doesn't work for me. That doesn't work for me. And as you know, I have a torn ligaments in the exterior of my right from a riding injury from many years ago, and it really acted up about 2 years ago. I do continue to feel it, but I feel it more if I have a higher shoe. So it's variable. It's a matter of what works for you. And I'm glad I found these shoes. And Janice, what are you wearing nowadays? Did you say you're wearing Keens? You did say that. Yeah. All right. Robin, I haven't heard anything from you recently. Are you learning a lot, or is this too much?
No, I'm learning a lot. This is great.
Okay, you can also watch this again, and maybe I can also do some get the written parts of this out there for everybody to share. I don't know. I think the discussion is probably more valuable than anything else. Let's see if I can get this thing to move again. There we go. Okay, it was moving. Up. Okay, here we go. Headlamps. All right. What do you say about headlamps? When I first got into backpacking, I found a very cool black diamond headlamp that was about yay big. It was tiny and it was beautiful, and I couldn't change out the batteries on them, and they kind of went to hell, and that was the end of that. And I've been back and forth on headlamps. I got a decent one now. I'm not married to it. It's rechargeable, works well. I'm not blown away by it. Does anybody have a headlamp that they absolutely recommend? No. Yeah.
I have one that has a red light on it option, and I really like that.
When you're sharing a tent and you have to get up in the middle of the night, the red light is really, really useful. So you don't blind your partner as you have to try to crawl out of the tent to go pee. So yeah, I have the red light option too, which is helpful.
I bought a cheap one at Lowe's, and
What'd
it
you
also
get?
has a green light,
Oh,
and that is fantastic.
really? What's the green light? Same thing?
It's got red and green,
Ah, interesting.
but and it was like a $20 headlamp
Love it.
at Lowe's.
Right. I would highly recommend not spending too much. You can spend a boatload on these things, and you know, to what end? You absolutely need to have illumination at night, but you don't have to spend a boatload of money on it. So yeah, headlamps. Let's see what else they got here. Everything else, huh? She's going to talk about food, I think, maybe.
When it comes to choosing cooking equipment, ask yourself, how many people am I cooking for, and what's my cooking style? If you're just heating water to rehydrate a dehydrated food packet, you need less equipment than if you're cooking from scratch.
Yeah. Well, we can get into a bunch of stuff here when it comes to food. What we have done in past years, if you go out and backpack with the Sierra Club, one of the things they do in group is that they parse out the meals. So one night you're cooking for the entire group. The next night, the next guy's cooking for the entire group, and they sort of share carrying the food and all this kind of stuff. We don't have not generally done it that way. What we have done is every person for themselves. So I'm in charge of my own food. I make sure that I've got enough to last for the duration that we're going to be out, and you know, I'm responsible for it, and I make my own food. If I have a little extra to share, that's always fun too. But you know, that's kind of how we've done it, you know, one-on-one. Now, it's been a learning experience for me now that I have a husband that is learning how to backpack, that we're sharing food. So that's been an experience for me, and I've been trying to figure out to make sure that I'm packing enough calories, because I make my own food, and that we've got enough for both of us. At the same time, I use a wood burning cook stove that takes longer. I use that at night, and then Tim usually carries a little isobutane thing for the morning, and we use that for morning coffee. It's a lot faster, a lot more efficient, I suppose. But the cool thing about making your own fire in my tiny little solo stove is that I don't have to worry about running out of fuel when you're out there. It does take a little longer, but I kind of like it. So,
Mary Ellen,
yes.
I will do a little plug now. One of the first things that we're going to do, because we partnered with Right on Track, is they're going to have a cooking demo on April 3rd for us. It'll be on Zoom like this. But if you register by March 26th on our calendar, they will mail you the 2 meals that they're going to cook.
Is that right?
And $10, and you're going to get a lot more than $10 worth of food, and you can either cook along or just try them on your own. But Eric Boxer's doing that presentation, and he is super knowledgeable on cook stoves. If you just kind of want to get the lay of the land, and then maybe taste some of their food. So that's an idea if you want to dig into the cooking part of it a little bit.
That's a good idea. Everybody's you have to take into consideration food. Some people are not cooking at all. You know that they're doing the cold soak so that they don't have to carry fuel or anything. But that's not appealing to me. I'd rather be able to get to camp, set up camp, and sit down with my friends that I'm backpacking with, and make dinner and chat and regroup. Usually by that time you're bone tired and you're just sort of getting your second wind, and you sit down and drink a lot of water and maybe even do a little rehydration, like the noon or whatever you put in the water, and cook and eat your food, and it's just kind of fun. But I'm very interested in seeing what they have to offer. This is the second time he has done a demonstration for us, isn't that right, Matt? The cook guy?
Yes, Eric did one last fall outside of our office. This one will be on Zoom, and he is local, and it'll be live, so you'll be able to ask questions. Their meals are really wonderful. I mean, if you are new to backpacking and you just kind of don't want to have to worry about all the technical things about how to try to dry your own food and this and that and the other thing, their meals are very tasty. And
I'm looking forward to it.
They have vegetarian options too.
Yeah, which is great. It was how I got into making my own food. And what day is that again? And he's going to go over camp stoves as well. So
April 3rd, and you do have to register to get the meal sent to you before then.
Okay, you have to register by March 26th, right? I've got to check that out.
Register through COP or through?
Yeah, it's through COP.
Yeah, it's on our community calendar, on our registration calendar.
Good. Yeah. Well, that'll be fun and interesting, and he might have some new stuff. We're using what's it called? Snow Peak. Is that correct? I think that's our the one that we use with the isobutane. And then again, I use a solo stove, backpacking stove, which is a tiny wood burning stove, and I use little pellets, and I put that in there along with twigs and such, and get a fire going and make my food that way. But I also dehydrate and make my own food, and I have it. I do that annually, and then I eat it through the year and make my own food. But I'd be interested to see what they're offering, and they do offer vegetarian and vegan, right? Yeah, Jerry Rampelt, our president, is a vegan many years, and has he tried their vegan foods?
I think he did put in an order. I don't know if he's actually eaten them yet. He may be doing that now. I think they're camping in an RV somewhere right now.
Good. All right. Good. All right. Well, let's look forward to that. Does anybody else have any other questions about this? This is kind of a big topic that we're going to have a whole thing on food, and I think I would recommend you take a look at that. You'll learn a lot there, and we'll have an opportunity to chat at that gathering as well. So let's see what's next. Stoves. Well, there you go. Canister versus liquid food. I saw a guy light his arm on fire with the liquid fuel. I think they're dangerous. I don't like them. I like the isobutane little screw on thingies. They work fine, except if it's really cold. If it's really cold, you got to put them in your down in your bag or in your pocket to keep them warm so that you can light them. But other than that, they work very well and very simple, very easy. So what kind of, anybody else have other stoves that they use? Or have you used stoves yet? No? I think we'll talk about that on April 4th, right? Okay, good. Good. And yeah, I can show you what I've got, what I've used over. I use MSR makes a pocket rocket. I had my pocket rocket for years. I think I swapped it out at one point. And so we can use the Japanese one that I've got. So let's see what's next.
Yeah, I think we still have our white gas stove from the 80s.
Oy, yeah, be very careful.
Done it.
Like I said, that, no. Like I said, we were down in West Virginia on one trail, and I saw a guy, he spilled that crap and it lit his arm on fire, and that was not a fun experience. So yeah. So water treatment, this is a big deal. Our buddies, Doug and Ed, like to use pills, the pellets you put in the water to treat the water. Right now, I've been using a Sawyer. I like it a lot, but in the old days, you used to have to do what this guy's doing right here, is in pumping water, and it was always an ordeal. And I've had
Mary Ellen, we can't see that screen. We're still on the layering screen for the background.
You're not seeing water treatment? Oh no! How should I fix this?
Few options.
Ellen, it may be time to wind down. It is 9 o'clock. I think it's been.
That's 2 hours is a lot. This is a lot. This is a lot of information. We can start with water treatment next time. If you can't see the screen, there's a whole water treatment thing. I am so sorry you can't see this.
You probably have to stop sharing and then restart, but yeah, I'm gonna have to go myself.
Yeah, this is a lot of stuff. So Matt, let's talk about regrouping next week. And I think that we've got, I need to remember to sign in for that food offering that we're doing. And let's next time I'll bring some information about possible car camping to share. I've got some stuff in chat here. Okay.
It's 9 o'clock.
Justin Curtis had to get off, and yeah, and that's about it. I think we're good. We'll start with water treatment next time, and I'll have more information. I think there's a great big group campsite at Delaware State Park, if you're all familiar with that. We could do an overnight there, make a big fire, and maybe get together earlier in the afternoon now that we've got later nights, and put out all our equipment and kind of talk about equipment and how it looks in a pack, and that might be helpful. So I'll bring information about the group campsite and possible dates when we get together next week. What's the date on that? The 26th? Is that right, Matt? When we're together again?
25th, I think.
1 week from today.
1 week from today. So let's do this again. Thanks so much to everybody for getting together. This is a good group. I hope that we can stick with it and get out there on the trail and enjoy each other's company and learn and do and share like Columbus Outdoor Pursuits says they want to do. So let's get this backpacking going again. So with that, nice to meet so many of you new ones. Nice to see old faces. Old faces.
Really old.
I'm not that old.
I am.
And my dogs really want to get outside. So I'm gonna stop sharing. And
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
I hope
Thank you.
this was
Thank
helpful.
you.
Thank you.
Yes, and we'll do it again. All right. Thanks.
All right.
Bye.